All right, let's talk about abs. You've probably seen hundreds of different ab exercises out there, right? It's a lot of noise. Well, today we're going to cut right through all of that because it turns out you really only need 2 exercises to build a seriously impressive six-pack.
So let's just dive right into one of the most common and honestly most frustrating things in fitness. You've been working hard, you've been eating right, you're getting lean, but you look in the mirror and where are the abs? What is going on?
Well, it's because getting a six-pack is really a 2-part puzzle. Now, everybody knows the first piece. You have to get your body fat low enough to actually reveal the muscle. But here's the secret piece that so many people miss. You also have to make your ab muscles bigger. You need to grow them so they're thick enough to actually pop through the skin. And don't think they need to get huge. Check this out. A 2017 study found that in just 10 weeks, people grew their abs by only a few millimeters. Now that sounds like almost nothing, doesn't it? But visually, it's everything. That tiny amount of growth is literally the difference between having faint ab lines and having a deep, defined six-pack.
Okay, so if growing our abs is so important, why do most of the popular ab workouts out there just not work? Let's pull back the curtain on the common mistakes that are probably holding you back.
And this quote right here just nails it. Think about it. Planks are fantastic for core stability, no doubt about it, but they won't make your abs grow. You'd never do wall sits expecting to get massive quads, would you? Of course not. It's the same thing with planks. We're just using the wrong tool for the job.
So here's what's really going on. During a lot of these so-called ab exercises, there's another muscle group that's sneakily jumping in and doing all the heavy lifting. And that culprit, almost every single time, is your hip flexors. And you know what invites those hip flexors to take over? It's this piece of advice that we've all heard a million times: keep your back straight. The moment you do that, especially in an exercise like a leg raise, you basically just switch off your abs and let your hip flexors do all the work.
So if keeping a straight back is wrong, what's right? Well, this leads us to the big secret, the one simple key that unlocks real ab growth, and it all comes down to one little shape.
See, here's the basic science of it. The primary job of your six-pack muscles is something called spinal flexion, and all that fancy term means is rounding your spine. It's their job to pull your rib cage and your pelvis toward each other, which is the exact opposite of keeping your back straight.
Here's the easiest way to think about it. The mistake is making an L shape with your body. That straight back means your hip flexors are working. What you want is to make a C shape. That rounded spine is the signal that your abs are finally engaged and doing what they're supposed to do. All right, so now that we've got that C-shape principle locked in, let's put it to work with our first essential exercise. This is what we call a bottom-up movement, and it is perfect for targeting those stubborn lower abs. And that exercise is the reverse crunch. It's just so effective because it challenges your abs the most when they're fully stretched out at the bottom of the rep. And research shows that training a muscle in that stretch position can be a massive trigger for growth.
Okay, but your form here is absolutely everything. This is not about swinging your legs. Forget your legs exist. The entire movement is about using your abs to peel your hips up off the bench, creating that C shape. And then, this is the important part, you have to slowly control it on the way back down. That's where the real work gets done.
And the best part is, anyone can do this. If you're a beginner, just focus on lifting your tailbone an inch off the bench. That's it. As you get stronger, try to get your hips a little higher. And for a real challenge, you can start to straighten your legs out more. It makes it way harder. Simple to progress.
Okay, 1 exercise down, 1 to go. We've hit the lower abs from the bottom up. Now we're going to hit the upper abs with a top-down movement, bringing the torso down towards the pelvis. Now, yeah, you could just do regular crunches on the floor, but we're trying to maximize growth here. The rope cable crunch is way better for one simple reason: progressive overload. You can actually add weight over time, and that is the #1 driver of muscle growth, period. And again, it all comes down to isolation. You have to lock your hips in place. I mean, they shouldn't be moving back and forth at all. The only thing that should move is your spine. Think about folding your chest down towards your pelvis, and then really feeling that stretch in your abs as you control it back up.
And hey, want a little pro tip to make this even better? Try turning around and facing away from the machine. This little tweak changes the resistance so the exercise is hardest right at the beginning, in that fully stretched position. It's a total game changer for growth. So, there we have it, our 2 perfect exercises, the reverse crunch and the rope cable crunch.
Now, the big question is, how do we put these together into a simple plan that you can actually follow?
And here it is, your complete blueprint. And honestly, it's this simple. Train your abs just once or twice a week. Do 3 sets of reverse crunches and 3 sets of rope cable crunches. Aim for about 6 to 12 good, clean reps. Once you can hit 12 reps for all your sets, it's time to make it harder. That's the entire plan.
But before we finish, we have to come back to that first piece of the puzzle. You have to remember this. You can build the most incredible, chiseled abs in the world, but if they're covered by a layer of body fat, nobody's ever going to see them. This training plan is killer, but it must be paired with a nutrition plan to get you lean.
And really, that's the final thought. Building the muscle is half the battle, and now you have the exact blueprint to do it right. So the only question left is, do you have the other half of the plan in place to finally reveal all that hard work?